Yeah. It too.
God, we're nerds. Hello, HG. Hello, Mr. M. Hello, Benaz. And Bahar and Sana. Hello. All right. So, let's see. Today, what are we going to talk about? We'll start with Latin again, because I think Latin's the most useful
Yeah.
for English vocabulary. All right. Hello, cool Coiny X. ABD, that's not how it works.
I accept you as a person.
I do accept you. I accept you wholly and completely. but I don't just start bringing people up on my stage who randomly ask me. ABD, do you know what we're talking about today? What is my live stream about today? Hello, Mona.
Hi, Mona.
We'll wait for just a few minutes for people to show up, but in the meantime, we can just chat a little bit, everybody. So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 10:32 a.m. here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about vocabulary.
Yes.
English vocabulary words and something called etymology, which means the history of English words and where they come from. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching some tricks and tips that will help you to learn some new vocabulary words. Okay, some very useful tricks for learning vocabulary words. But for right now, and we say in the meantime, right now, we're going to just chat for a few minutes until people show up, and then we'll start teaching. Do I love Syria? I love Earth. So if Syria is on Earth, then sure. Okay? I'm not a big fan of the concept of the country, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here or not, but it's the truth. Okay? Why what? Hello, Tanya. Good to see you. Privyet. The topic today, Sahar, is English vocabulary. I didn't say Syria wasn't beautiful. I think Earth is beautiful. Syria is on Earth. Earth is beautiful. So, I don't care what country you're from. I like all countries. Okay? Hello, Deborah Jimenez. Hola.
Hola.
I need more coffee. You know what? I need to go get that here in a minute. Are you good, or you want some water or anything? Or
Yeah, if you got a water, but
yeah, sure.
That's all right.
Okay, guys, give me 1 second. You guys can talk to Clay for a minute. I'm going to go get us some coffee and water. I'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Eugene Marie. My name is Clay. I am Mark's friend. Teacher Clay. I'm trying to learn from Mark. Any tips for an interview in English? I don't know. I guess it depends on the context of the interview and who you're interviewing and why. I mean, I would say keep your questions shorter. You know, you don't want too long of a question to where the answer is shorter than the question, but I'm not sure what your case is. I don't have the keyboard, Melody, but my name in English would be Clay, Clay. Neha, the topic is etymology, which is English origins, where words come from, and the stories about them. You can call me either. Clay, Teacher Clay. That's all right. Mark does play music. Yeah, Mark plays the drums right here. He plays those. I like to sing, but I don't play any instruments. I know a lot of talented musicians. I've been lucky, but I do not play any instruments myself.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna switch to my energy drink. I need something more to still dragging ass.
How do you manage your emotions when someone is rude to you? I
don't always.
Yeah, generally I just kind of do what I call a breathing exercise, and I just try to breathe in slowly for 6 seconds, hold the breath for 6 seconds, and then release it for 6 seconds. And a lot of the time that can get my emotional mindset into a safer, more calm place.
Yeah, I should do that more often. The truth is, I don't always. I am a paradox. Sometimes people think I'm a very patient person, and there are times when I have no patience for some things. So, if like for example, trolls. Or
Yeah.
whatever, I have no patience for that. If you're trying to make me upset, I am not going to let you win, but I'm certainly not going to just like ignore it either. So I do sometimes get a little bit upset. Did we miss anything? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Can you tell me meta, trumpet, and tambourine?
I was wondering if maybe it was metal, but
Sana, what's your question? I don't understand. Trumpet is this one, right? And tambourine is the shaky one with the jingles. Yeah. Jinka, 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 jinka. Right? I have one around here somewhere.
I was looking.
Yeah. I don't know where my tambourine... It might be at the band room. Hello, Eugene Marie. Hello, Melody. Hello, Ken. Do we have any tips for interviewing in English?
Yeah, I said it kind of depended on the context, and I said keep the questions kind of shorter. Don't get too complex in your questions. And
yeah.
That was.
I always say, Deborah, interviews are always about one most important thing: confidence. If you want the job, you have to be confident, right?
Oh, I see. I was not thinking of a job interview.
Yeah, that's what that's what they're usually asking.
I see. Right. I was thinking of like interviewing somebody.
Yeah. So when you have a job interview, somebody they need help. Right? That's what they need. They need a worker who will help them. You have to look like that help. If you don't look confident, then you look like a problem. You don't look like your help, right? So job interviews are about being confident. Smile and answer questions simply, but confidently. Okay? Melody, his name is Clay.
Some other people helped me
okay.
out. Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you.
And then, yeah, I was just answering Deborah's last question when you walked up.
Do you guys play music? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm a musician. Clay is he likes to sing. He's a music appreciator. He's a
Yes.
music lover.
Mm-hmm.
ABD, there is a good Syrian restaurant in my city that I go to sometimes called the Olive Tree, and it's run by 4 Syrian women. So I know about Syrian food a little bit. It's good. The voice is like an instrument, some would say. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to be a teacher?
I just enjoy exchange with people. Honestly, I like to teach things, but I also like to learn things. And being a student, I wanted to, kind of realize the other side as well, and teach others and see what they have to teach me.
Tanya, for me, I don't know if it was ever a question that I ever considered.
Yeah, I'd never really thought about it.
For me, I think it just kind of, I think there are some people that just naturally gravitate towards being explainers.
Yeah, and my mother is a teacher, and so that's probably a big part of it for me as well. I respect her a lot. She's made a lot of accomplishments in her life, so.
But yeah, I mean, I started teaching music when I was 18, and I love passing excitement to others.
Yeah.
And lighting the fire of passion and excitement about things, right? So one of my favorite things is teaching someone something or telling a story that teaches something and then seeing that light go on and they go, wow. And that feeling of passing that fire from your mind to somebody else's mind is something that really, really... I admit that there's a very strong, powerful feeling I get from helping people to understand something in a new way or consider something in a new way or have a new interest and curiosity about something that they didn't have before. So, yeah. Hello, Belen. Hello, Pop.
Hey, Belen.
Thank you for the gifts. Let's talk later. Hello, Rachel. Mona said she was watching The Office, and I heard someone say, "You're a pervert." Can you tell me what that means? Mona, a pervert is a word. Perverted is a word that basically describes things that are considered socially unacceptable or socially weird in some way, right? So a pervert is somebody who is acting in a way that you feel is uncomfortable or not socially acceptable. Okay?
And a lot of the time it's projected from men towards women is a lot, generally the implication, not always, but yeah, that's, I think, some of the
right, yeah,
the general use of it anyway. We might say creep.
And on that show, I'm quite sure, I'm pretty sure I know it was probably what's her name, the blonde girl.
Oh yeah, she calls everyone a pervert.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
She's kind of a bit she's a bit prudish, we say, which means that her sense of morals are very strict and rigid. So
it doesn't take much to pervert them.
Right. She thinks that lots of behaviors are perverted behaviors,
yes. Yeah, you're right. Angela.
Yeah. Angela, that's who it was. Yeah, I'm sure it was Angela who said that. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Luna. How to book lessons one-on-one. Oh, Rachel, you can go to my website, which is afiecenglish.com, and you can get lessons from me there.
Hey, Miguel.
Yes, hey, Miguel. How are you, my friend? Good to see you again. Thank you for coming, as usual. And yes, I do have a YouTube page. It's right here as well. If you go to my YouTube now, you can join and there's no time limit. Okay, here's my website, and here is my link tree where you can go and find my YouTube, my website, my podcast. Everything is on my link tree. Everybody needs to love J-Lo. I'm going to disagree. Sorry, I'm not a big J-Lo fan. You couldn't see with the adverts on the screen? What adverts? Are there advertisements? Bellin. Ulan Bear, I'm glad you like J-Lo, but we're not talking about that. Okay? If you want to start your own comment stream or something somewhere else about J-Lo, that's okay. But yeah. Hello, Mateus. Hello, Bruno.
Uno.
I don't have to love J-Lo. Okay? So it's a little weird. It's a little weird that you're so insistent about J-Lo. Okay?
I do admire your loyalty.
Yeah. But that's not how it works. Okay? That's not how it works. You have to love me. What about me? What about me? You have to love me. I'm awesome too. You're watching on TV, lying on the couch. You don't feel so good. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Bellin.
Dang.
I hope you feel better soon. Hello, Preko. Oh, I'm sorry, Prekhao. Hello. What do I teach? 我是英文老师，可以教你英文。Do I have a website for reading? I do. eslfast.com. Go to eslfast.com, and that's a great website for reading for beginners and intermediate level. Okay? And yes, this live stream is on Hello Talk now, but it's also on YouTube now. Okay? Hello, Lynette.
Hey.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, I think we have enough people here. We're ready to get going. We can start with teaching. How about that? I'm going to start teaching about vocabulary today. Okay, so we're going to start. Today's live stream is about vocabulary, and it's about something called etymology. Etymology means the history of where English words come from and how they've changed over time. Okay, and if you learn a little bit about etymology, it can help you to remember the meaning of the words. It can help you understand the meaning of the words better. It can help you understand the spelling and even the pronunciation of the words. So there are many good reasons why you should think about learning etymology. Now, it might be a little bit difficult for you if you're a beginner, but I still think it's a good idea to check it out and learn it a little bit, okay? Hello, Durga. Did I notice you? I noticed you. Yes. Hello, Durga. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some Latin words that come, or I should say some English words that come from Latin. Okay, 60% of English words come from the Latin language or Greek language. Okay, 60%, that's a lot. All right, 30% about come from French, 20% about come from German. We also have many words from Hindi and from Arabic and from Spanish and from Persian and from Chinese and Japanese. But today we're going to focus on some words that we're going to learn. I'm going to show you the root word. Do you guys know what root words are? Root words are small little words, little tiny pieces of words that will help you learn many, many words together. Okay, it's the root of a word. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the root word of FAC. FAC, in Latin, it means to make or do. Okay? So there are many English words that have the letters FAC in them, and it means something about making or doing. Okay? So let's take a look at a few. How about, we'll start with the first one. Let me look it up here really quickly. Oh, I hate that. Artifact. Whoops. Artifact. What is an artifact? Durga, we're not talking about that today, okay, my friend? We're talking about vocabulary, all right? So please follow my topic for today, okay? So, artifact. The word artifact. What is an artifact? When we usually talk about this word, an artifact, it usually is something we're talking about from, like, history, right? So maybe if you go to an old city, like the ancient city of Rome or something, right? They have many old artifacts that they find from past civilization, right? Past days and long time ago. And they'll say, oh, look at this vase. It's a beautiful vase. That's a beautiful artifact. Okay? And in this case, artifact, the first part, art, comes from the Latin word arte. Arte meaning by skill. Okay? And fact meaning a thing that is made. So artifact means a thing made by skill.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that makes sense when you think about history.
Yeah.
We're looking for artifacts. We're things that were made by skill,
right,
by people.
Not by nature.
Not by nature. That's exactly right.
Yes.
You know, so a piece of wood is not an artifact. But if you carve that piece of wood into something beautiful,
yes,
that is an artifact.
Or a piece of pottery.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so artifact means a thing made by skill. Okay, that is an artifact. All right. And let's go to the next word here. Ooh, what just happened to my list? Sorry, I lost my place. Where did it go? Nope. Here it is. And what about this one here? We've talked about this word before, but we talked about it with the first word in it, benefactor. Oh. Benefactor. What is a benefactor? Do you guys know this word? It's a little difficult. What is a benefactor? Anyone? Anyone? Hello, Bueller.
Benefactor?
Yeah, benefactor. Let's see. So, bene. Bene means good, and facere means to do. So, a benefactor is someone who does good things for you. All right? A benefactor is somebody who gives you money or helps you, right? So B-E-N-E, not just B-E-N, Bahar. B-E-N-E means good. Bene. Bene means good, okay? And so bene plus factor means someone who does good things for you, okay? To do. Facere means to do. And bene means good, so to do good things. That's right. A person who helps you is a benefactor.
Yes.
Okay? It's not a word we use too often anymore.
No.
It was a word that used to be used quite often in history.
In terms of, like, art benefactors
That's right.
and things. Yeah. Or
But you
business
can
benefactors.
use that word to describe anyone who's helping you significantly in some way, supporting you, right? Somebody who's giving you money would be a benefactor, right? Unless they want it back.
Yeah, then they're a loan shark.
That's right.
And the bene usually goes out the window.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. Let's go to the next word. So we've got benefactor. And let's see. Let's do some more common words. Well, let's just do this basic word. The word fact.
Ah.
What is the word fact, everyone?
I've never thought about the etymology of fact.
Yeah, what is a fact? Truth. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah. So the word fact means a thing that is done, an action, anything done, a deed. So if you did it, then it is a fact.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? That's how that works. Yeah, something done. Right? So
Yeah.
it comes from that word, something done. All right? Un hecho. Is that the Spanish word for it? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Hello, Odie. Good to see
Hey,
you. Hello,
Odie.
Saad. So yeah, the word fact, when we say it's a fact, we usually think it means something real, something truthful, right? But the original meaning means something that was done. It was definitely done. It was really
It's a
done.
fact.
It is now a fact because it was really done.
Interesting.
Okay. Hello, Islam and Wendy. Hello. Hello, Elena. All right. I keep losing my place with this. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, the notes, how it always goes back.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good one. The word fact. Okay. How about, well, because we did fact, we can do factor. Factor. What is a factor? Let's see. Something that conditions from others. Factor means a reason. Right. That's what we usually think of now. You know, we'll say like, why was the baseball game canceled? Well, rain was a factor. Rain was a factor. Means something that was part of the reason or part of the cause for something, right? But the original meaning of the word factor is actually, it means a doer or creator of something, right? So in this case, now the word means something that caused something else to happen.
Right.
But the original meaning was someone who made something, and maybe that thing they made caused something to happen.
Or they caused it to exist.
That's right.
Yeah, they
and so
made a
that's
fact.
also where we get the word factory.
Aha. Yes.
A factory is a place where people make things. Okay? So the word fact is a thing that is really done. Factor is a thing that is made by people, which could have a cause on other things,
Yeah.
right? An effect on other things,
Yes.
right? An influence on other
Yes.
things. That's right. And a factory is a place where things are made. Okay? Okay, very quickly, I'm going to answer a couple of random questions, but please try to stay on topic with me, okay, today, everybody? Elham, the idioms in Speak English Like an American are used very commonly. 90% of them are very common, I would say, okay? Maybe a few of them are not so common. Hello, Alba. Hello, Shushu. Yes, I have that book. I use that book when I'm teaching. Yeah. So, let's see. The synergy between us is remarkable. Okay, since we're talking about etymology, let's look at the word synergy because that's got a good etymology.
Yeah.
It's a little off topic, but synergy means the energy between two people or more people, right? Or between two things or more things, right? So the original meaning of synergy comes from the Greek word synergia, which means working together. That's it. So synergy means working together, okay? Syn means together, and the ergy part comes from the Greek word. Well, actually, no, it's an earlier word, not Greek, but it's verg, which means to work, right? So synergy basically means working together, right? Okay, it's like it's actually a synonym of cooperation.
Right.
To cooperate. Co meaning together and operate meaning to work. Right? So synergy means the same thing. Okay? The man sitting next to me is my co-host, Clay. Okay? And once again, everybody, we are talking about etymology today. We're talking about the history of English words and where they come from. And right now, we've been discussing the letters F-A-C, and there are many English words that have F-A-C in them. So we talked about artifact and benefactor, and we talked about the word fact and factory and factor. Okay? So let's look at another word. How about faculty? Faculty. That's one way that we talk about faculty is at a university. Faculty, technically, it usually means the teachers at any school. Right. So the faculty could be at an elementary school, at a high school, at a college or university. That's the faculty. Okay, but faculty has more than one meaning.
Yes.
Sometimes we talk about faculty, and it means a group of teachers who work at a place, right? But my faculties means my ability to think is what it means in modern terms.
Yeah, and some people mentioned ability as well, which, yes, that's...
Right. So the word faculty comes from the Latin word facultatum or facultatus. Facultas, meaning power or ability, capability. Okay? So your faculty is your ability or capability or power to be able to do something. Okay? Now, the teaching sense, the academic sense of the word faculty means a branch of knowledge or an ability of knowledge. So the faculty are the group of people who have power and knowledge about things. Okay, so they have an ability to do. They are the ones that you can learn from because they can do it, right? The faculty has great faculties.
Yes.
Okay? Hello, Jing.
Hello, Jing.
All right. So we've gone and done that word now. Faculty and factor, factotum. No, we didn't do factotum yet. We'll do that one next. Let's see. What is a factotum? That's not a word that's very commonly used, but it's a funny word, so let's talk about it. Factotum. It's a very academic word. I think that they did use it in School of Rock.
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
Me too. That little girl, whatever her name is.
Yeah. And then he's like, I don't know what a factotum is.
A factotor.
Factotor, yeah.
So a factotum is one who does kinds of work for another person, right? So factotum in the original meaning is to do everything. So it's a person who does things, right? So in the case of a classroom, it's kind of like the class pet.
Right.
It's the person who does things for the teacher, you know, the factotum.
The factotum.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Now, this is not a very commonly used word anymore. It's a pretty abstract, rarely used word anymore, but it's a fun word, and it's more directly related to Latin.
Right.
But there are many English words that are still being used,
Yeah.
you know, like et cetera, you know, means and more, right? That's directly Latin. Or quid pro quo. You know, we talk about those. Those are directly Latin words that we still use in English. Okay? Let's see. Let's find another good word. How about manufacture? And I'll do facsimile next. Manufacture. Whoops. What does manufacture mean? Manufacture. To manufacture means to make something. And the word manu means by hand. Manu means by hand. So manufacture, manu means by hand, and fact means to do. So manufacture means to do things by hand, to make things by hand.
To manually make something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Manual comes from the word manu, meaning by hand. Okay, so manufacture, manu meaning hand, and fact meaning to make or do, right? So manufacture means to do or make things by hand.
And then you get an artifact.
That's right, right. And then somebody brought up the word facsimile. Facsimile. Let's take a look at facsimile.
Makes similar?
That's exactly right. Yeah, so to make something similar is a facsimile, right? Fact meaning to make, and simile meaning similar, right? Something like that thing. Let's see. So simile means like or resembling or of the same kind. Okay, so a facsimile would be something that's made, it's like a reproduction. It's something that's made to look a lot like or act a lot like something else. That's a facsimile.
In comic books, they do this. It's commonly done. I collect comic books, and they'll commonly come out with older issues that they will reproduce, and they'll call those the facsimile edition. And you can get the same comic that came out in the 80s, but it was made in 2020.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, and they call them the facsimile
That's
edition.
interesting. Okay. All right, so there we go. Another FAC word. All right, and I think we might do one more. There are a bunch more words here, but I'm looking for ones that are more commonly used.
Facade, maybe?
Facilitate. Let's do facilitate.
Yeah.
What does facilitate mean? Hello, Gustavo. Facilitate, Lola says it means to make something easier. And yeah, that's right. It does. It means to make easier or make it less difficult. And it comes from the Latin word facilis, meaning easy to do, right? Yeah, that's what facilitate means. It means to make it easier to do. Comes from the word facilis in Latin, which means easy to do. Okay? To facilitate, to make easier. All right? So all of these are about doing something, right? And let's see, we have one more. Let's see. Well, we talked about benefactor. Benefactor, bene means good, and factor means to do, right? So a benefactor is somebody who does good things for you. The OR on the end means a person, right? So bene means good, fact means to do, and OR means a person who's doing that thing, right? So benefactor is a person who does good things for you, but we also have the word malefactor. Malefactor means a person who does bad things. Male means bad in Latin. So male means bad. Fact means to do, and or on the end means a person. So malefactor means a person who does bad things to you. Okay? All right, so there we go. So that's our group of words that have the letters F-A-C in them. Okay, artifact, benefactor, facile. There's one last word that we didn't do yet. Facile. What does facile mean, everyone?
Hello, Muhammad.
So the word facile now... Whoops. When we think of the word facile now, we think of something that's easily done or a person who's very easily led, right? A facile person would be a person who you can convince to do something very easily. You can manipulate them very easily. So it's all about doing something easily, right? And the word facile in Latin, again, means easy to do something. Okay, so a facile person is a person who's compliant. They do things without arguing. You can just ask them to do it and they'll do it. They're easily told or easily led.
I know some
Okay?
of those.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. All right. All right, that's enough of the FAC words. Let's try another one. Let's do something from the top of my list, which will be easier to scroll to. Okay, how about words that start with the Latin word cata? Cata means to break something down. To break something down. Kata. So can you guys think of any kata? There we go.
There it is.
Catastrophic.
Yeah,
Catapult.
That's a good one.
That's right. Any other kata words that you can think of? Cataclysm. Catatonic.
Catalyst?
Catalog. Let's see if
That's
that one's in there. Let's find out if that's the same or not. It might be. I think it is. Catalog. Yeah, it is. So log means to write, and kata means down completely.
Ah.
So to catalog is to write
it
down
all down completely and
Yeah.
catalog everything that's there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cataract. That's an interesting one.
Let's take a look at
Yeah.
cataract. Let's see. Cataract means, it comes from the same root word. And the original meaning of cataract comes from the Latin word cataracta, meaning a waterfall or broken water. Let's see.
Maybe because our eyes are wet and
I'm trying
broken-
to. I'm sure
broken
there. I'm
water,
sure
you know,
if I knew
and-
more about the anatomy of the eye, then I'm sure I'd understand more about what that means. Let me read a little bit more. One moment. Kata meaning down. The second element is traced either to arhatine, to strike hard, or ratine, to dash or break. So cataract means to break down. So I guess, it's
Yeah.
your eyes are breaking down. Yeah. Okay. All right, good. Let's look at some other kata words. So catastrophic. Let's look at catastrophic. Or let's look at catastrophe. So catastrophe, kata meaning down, and stryphin meaning to turn, right? So it means a sudden turn of disaster, right? It's catastrophic. And catapult. What is a catapult, everyone? Do you guys know a catapult? We don't really use those anymore, but you'll see them in movies a lot.
Or to shoot pumpkins around Halloween, they have that.
But I don't think they know about that too much. So kata means down, and palin means to toss or hurl.
Yeah, I was gonna say pult would just like a
pulley.
or a what's the Olympic game with the pult?
Pole? No, not pole vault.
No, I don't know what I'm thinking of.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm thinking.
Okay. Anyway, so a catapult is something that throws something to bring things down. Okay, bring the wall down. Catatonic, that's a good one. Catatonic means that you can't speak, right? You're unable to speak. So catatonic, let's see, catatonia, meaning kata meaning down, and tonos meaning tone,
Right.
sound.
Your sound is
So
down.
catatonic means you have no sound. Your sound is down. That's right. Okay. Catharsis. Let's take a look at catharsis. I think that might not be from the same root because it's K-A-T-H. Yeah, that's from a different root word. Carthos comes from catharsis comes from the Greek word katharein, meaning to purify or purge.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has religious kind of connotations.
Right.
a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
To make clean. Right. So catharsis is not from the same root word. Catalyst is probably. Let's take a look. Catalyst. No, not that one. Catalyst. Let's see. Catalysis meaning kata meaning down, and lion meaning to loosen. So a catalyst is something that loosens something.
Yeah.
Right. It causes something to loosen, to
Some type
to
of
do
change.
something else for a change. That's exactly right. It causes the ability for change. That's
Yes.
right. It's a catalyst. Right? Yeah, catastrophe. We mentioned that one before. Okay, so yeah, kata. Those are all kata words, right? Ooh, catacombs. Let's look at
Yeah,
catacombs.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Catacomb. So the word comb in this case actually comes from the word tomb. So catacombs are
tombs that are down.
The tombs that are down. That's
Yeah.
right. So tomb is a place where we bury people, right? And kata means down. So catacombs are the place where you go down to bury people, right? That's the catacombs.
Famous place in Paris.
Catamaran. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh, so this one does not come from Latin. This one comes from Hindi. Yeah, and you should know that, Just Reese, since you're from India. So the catamaran is a kind of boat, right? And this comes from Hindi or Malaysian or Tamil, and katu maram means tied wood. So good guess, good suggestion, catamaran, but there's a good example of a word that does not come from Latin. That one comes from Hindi or originally Tamil, and it has a completely different meaning.
And
it
now
means
I learned
tied
something.
wood. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Me too. I don't even know what that word is.
Cataplexy, yeah. I feel like I've heard it before, but
I have never. Cataplexy, meaning a nervous shock or paralysis, a state when an animal is feigning death, like opossums.
a possum or a lizard sometimes do
Right.
that.
So, kata meaning down, and plexi meaning to strike or hit. So it's like you're stricken down. It looks like you're dead.
Yeah.
It looks like you've been stricken down. You've got cataplexy. Good one, Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Good one. And I think cataplasm would be related to that one. Catabolism. Now we're getting to some more rarely used
I was
words.
going to say it's probably like metabolism.
Yeah,
but
catabolism is related to the
like
same thing.
down,
yeah. Cataplexy, catabolism, those are all related.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right, good. Good, guys. So there we go. There's some kata words, meaning something about breaking something down or something in a downward area. Okay? Excellent. Let's try something a little more simple. How about auto? There's lots of auto words. What does auto mean? Auto means self. Auto means self. Okay, auto parts, autopilot, automatic. Give me some new words. Hello, unknown. Automotive. Autobiography. Autocracy.
Yeah, I was going to say autonomous.
Autocrat. Autodidact.
Yes.
Autograph. Autoimmune. Right? Automation.
Autobiography.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Autonomous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even autopsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So autobiography. What does autobiography mean? Autobiography. What does that mean? Anyone? Autobiography. What does that mean? To write something about yourself, right? So auto means self, bio means life, and graphy means to write. So autobiography, auto, self, bio, life, graph, write. To write about yourself. Okay? Autobiography means to write about yourself. Okay? And what about, let's look at automatic. So auto means self and matos means thinking or animated. So it's animated by itself.
Yeah.
Self-animated, automatic. Autoimmune, right? So it means the immune system of yourself, right? So autoimmune. Immune comes from the word, let's see, immunis, meaning... well, that's interesting. Immune comes from the words in, meaning not or opposite of, and munis, meaning performing services.
Ah, so that's a compound one, too.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So, in this case, autoimmune, or immune means exempt from a disease, right? You're immune from it, so you're not affected by the disease. Autoimmune means the body's ability to self-protect itself from diseases or other things, your autoimmune system. Okay? Nostalgia, that's right. Yeah, autophagy, and let's see. So some of these words, though, guys, I'm trying to find the words that are more common, right? There are always words that we have in English that are, they're not bad to learn, but they might not be very common, right? So automobile is a very common word. Auto means self and mobile means to move. So automobile means to move by itself, okay? But certain words, like is that how you pronounce it? Autoxidation?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, autoxidation.
Yeah, which would mean to oxidize by itself.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not a common word, unless you're a scientist.
Yeah, study fish or something.
If you're a scientist, then maybe you know about autoxidation, but that's not a common word. But autobiography, autograph, right? To write your name, write your own name. That's in your autograph. Those are common words. Automobile. Autopsy. What is an autopsy, everyone? What is an autopsy? Anyone? Autopsy, what does autopsy mean? It's a medical examination, but what it means in medical terms, it actually means an eyewitnessing. So it's to witness by yourself. When you do an autopsy, you yourself must look to see what happened. Okay? So auto meaning self and opsis meaning sight. Like
I see.
optical and
Yeah.
whatever, right? Autophobia would mean a fear of yourself. Phobia means fear, auto means self, so autophobia, fear of
You have to
self.
stay away from mirrors.
That's right, yeah. Auto harp, so in that case, it means an instrument that that's the one where you press
Plays
the
itself.
button and it
Yeah.
does the chords for
Right,
you. You know,
right.
it's very easy to do, right? Autonomy, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Let's
and-
take a look at autonomy.
I feel like auto lends itself to slang as well.
It does.
in a lot of cases.
Yeah, auto is a word, it's a root word that's so commonly used that you can basically create new words using the word auto, right? So any action that you're trying to tell somebody is something you've done by yourself or something that is done without your help would be auto something, right? So let me think. To auto write, auto script,
Yeah.
auto read, meaning just like it does it by itself, right?
Auto clean, a Roomba
Yeah,
or something
auto
like
clean,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Auto clean, right? So this word is a word that could be used in a way to kind of create new language because everybody knows what the word auto means by self, right? And that's how many of these words were created. They just added the term auto to
Right.
new terms, right? All right, so that's a good one, I think. Let me check my list and see if there's any other good auto words that we missed. Autobiography, autocracy, autocrat, autocratic, autodidact. Let's look at that one. What is an autodidact? Does anyone know? Whoops. Auto means self and didactos means taught. So an autodidact is somebody who teaches themselves. Okay? Teaches themselves. Okay. And automation, autograph, autoimmune, automatic, automobile, automotive, autonomous, autonomy, and autopsy. Okay, so there's some good auto words. Autopilot. See, that's
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's
Yep.
just one that when we created new planes.
Yeah.
And now they had this new technology where the computer would fly for you. We just added the word pilot and auto together to create a new word, autopilot. Okay? Auto reconnect. Sure. Yeah, to connect by itself. Maybe it's a computer function where if you lose your signal, it'll automatically reconnect. Yeah. Okay, auto start.
Yep, and a
There
lot
you
of
go. There's another one. Like
automobiles have
your
auto start.
lawnmower
Yeah.
or your automobile might have a button to auto start,
Yeah.
right? Auto transplantation, right? To transplant by itself, right? Like maybe plants that do that. Okay? So, there are many auto words, right? And always try to do, this system, I love this system and it's great, but I do want you to try to remember one thing. Some of these words are very useful and commonly used still, and some of these words are much more rare. That doesn't mean you shouldn't learn them, but I do want you to consider the usefulness of which words you spend time learning, right? However, that's why this is such a useful tool, because now anytime you see any new word that has the letters auto in it, you know it means something about self something, right? So that's why I like this trick, right? It's a good vocabulary trick. All right? And since we were talking about autobiography, let's talk about bio words. Bio. Bio means life. Bio means life. Let's talk about bio words. So we talked about autobiography, biology, biological, right? Anything else? Let me let you guys give me some words. Biography, right? Biochemistry, right? Biopsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Biofuels, bioactive, biowaste, biosphere, bionic. Yeah, good. Okay, so all of these words have something to do with the word life, right? So autobiography. Auto means self, bio means life, graphy means to write. So an autobiography is a book you write about yourself, right? Oh, I was looking at the wrong list. One moment. Where's my bio words?
Biofilm. I get that on my aquarium.
That's right, yeah. Bio. Come on, bio. Sorry, everybody, one moment while I find my list of words.
Bioenergy. Yep.
Where'd it go? Oh, there it is right there in the beginning. What about amphibian? Amphibian.
Ah, yes.
What does amphibian mean? Hello, Sarah. Amphibian. Amphi means both or both sides. Okay? And so amphibian means both sides of life. Means it can live in the water and it can live on land. It's amphibious. Both kinds of life, both sides of life. Amphibious. Okay? Amphi meaning both and bio meaning life. Okay, that's right. Those are amphibians.
Like a frog. Yeah.
Right? Amphibious, amphibian. What about antibiotic? Anti means against. Anti means against, and bio means life. So in this case, antibiotics are medicines you take to try to kill the bad,
Yes.
viruses in you or something, right? It's antibiotic.
Targeted.
That's right.
Life destroyer.
How about biodegradable? This one is a perfect Latin word because it's all Latin. Biodegradable. So bio means life, degrade means to break down, and able means able to break down life to life components. That's what biodegradable means. Okay?
It decomposes naturally.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. How about biodiversity? So bio means life, and diverse comes from the word meaning many kinds. So biodiversity means many kinds of life. Many kinds of life. Okay? What about biographer? A biographer is someone, bio means life, and graph means write, and er means a person. So biographer means a person who writes about lives, other lives, not yours, right?
You may enlist your factotum to be your biographer.
There you go. We're putting these together now. Good. All right, let's try about biohazard. This one is interesting. Let me take a look at that one in my book here. So this one is very interesting because this one is Latin and Arabic together. So biohazard. Bio means life. What does the word hazard mean? Hazard means danger. That's right. And this one has a very interesting history to it. So a long time ago, there was a game that was played in French, it was played in Spanish, and it was before that played in Arabic. The words alzar or azar, meaning the die. It's a dice game. It was a game of chance where you threw dice and you made bets about it, right? Now, what would happen if you were playing a game, like a gambling game? Let's say you're playing a gambling game with dice 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. If you cheat on that game, what will happen to you?
Something hazardous.
That's exactly right. That's what it means. So the word hazard actually comes from the name of the game, which means the dice. It means the dice in Arabic. But the people who were playing the game from other countries, when they heard the word, they associated it with the danger of cheating at that game.
Right.
So the word hazard means the danger of cheating at this game that's a gambling game. Or just the fact that it's a risk, right? You're gambling.
Right. There's a hazard.
It's
hazard.
a danger in that, right? So biohazard means life and hazard meaning risk. Okay? Yeah. So that's an interesting one. It's a mix of both Latin and Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And we talked about biology. Biology, bio means life, and ology means the study or science of something, right? So biology means the study or science of life. Okay. Biomass. It's a science word, but it's an easy, good one to learn, right? What does biomass mean? So mass means it's funny, actually. Here's another good one to learn. The word mass comes from the Latin word massa, meaning kneaded dough, which is also where we get the term masa in Spanish.
Wow. Interesting.
For dough that they use to make tortillas, right? So mass means the Greek word maza means barley cake.
Interesting.
And it's
how
a
that
ball. It's a
came to-
lump.
Yeah.
It has mass.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So biomass, materials which come from the ground, is what Musa says. But the original meaning means mass means shape or form or matter, right? Coherent matter. So biomass would be coherent matter of life. Okay? All right. And bionic, we mentioned bionic before, right? The Bionic Man.
Yes.
Right?
And he had that little rocket that he stood up in.
That's
wasn't it?
right. Yeah. So, bionic. Let's see. Bio. Oh, that's interesting. So, this is a combination of the word bio and electronic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
bio means life, and the second element, electronic, meaning pertaining to electrons, right?
So, I guess where does the idea of electricity come from back then?
it means pertaining to electrons.
I see.
Right? So the passing of electrons back and
Yeah.
forth, right? So that's from Irish physicist George J. Stoney, who, let's see. And no, the English physician Sir Thomas Brown, he coined the modern term electricus, meaning resembling amber. Because the first electricity, what was
It would have been glowing
it was
red, or amber,
like amber, right? Exactly. Yeah. So there's an interesting one.
Bionic like the Transformers. Yes,
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And let's do a couple more bio words. Biosphere. Biosphere, right? Sphere meaning round the circle, right?
We're standing on one.
That's right. And so bio is the sphere of life, where life can live. It's the biosphere. Okay. And what about microbe?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Microbe. Micro means small, and bio means life. So microbes are small life. Okay? And before we were talking about synergy, right? What was the word we looked at?
Oh, before that.
Synergy, yeah.
Yeah.
We looked
because
at
he was
synergy.
asking. One guy was asking about it in a sentence.
That's
I think
right.
It was just a.
So we also have the word symbiosis.
Oh,
Symbiosis or symbiotic.
yes.
And in this case, let's take a look at that one. Bio, we already know bio means life, right? So symbiosis means to live together. So sim means together and bio means life. So symbiosis means to live together. They live symbiotically.
Yes.
They're happy to live together. Okay?
And synergy means they work together.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So you see, like I said, that's why if you spend just a little bit of time, especially with Latin and Greek,
Yeah.
it's extremely effective to build your vocabulary by using these root words, right? We use these small little root words. Okay? And thank you for sharing, Sarah. I appreciate that. Yeah, no. It's okay, Sarah. I know what you're doing. You're sharing to all those groups that you're in. So I appreciate that. It's okay. All right. So bioscope. Okay,
That is
good. So bio means life and scope means something to look through, right? Scopic. So let me look at that one very quickly. Scope, coming from the Latin word scopus, meaning a target or the object of attention.
Ah.
Right? So microscope means micro and scope to look at the object of attention that's very small. Okay? Bioscope would be to look at the thing that's made of life. Okay? All right, good. Good. So those are some bio words, everyone. Those are good bio words. So let's do this. Let's take a break from doing all the root words for a minute, and let's try something different. Why don't you guys give me a word? Give me a word that you would like me to find the etymology of, and let's talk about it. Sometimes we stumble across
Yeah.
some good words doing this,
Yeah.
right?
Synergy
So-
happened earlier.
That's right. Yeah. So there are many German words. Sure, you
Yeah.
can be German. It doesn't matter. Just give me. Well, it has to be an English word that comes from German, like school, Schule, book, Buch, kindergarten. Right?
Disappear.
Okay. Disappear. Let's look at disappear. That's a good one. Disappear. Dis means to do the opposite of, and appear means to come into view. So disappear means to the opposite of coming into view, right? It goes out of view, right? Okay. Bearable, to bear something. That's a good one. Bear means, this one comes from German and Norse, and it means to carry something. To bear means to carry something. So bearable means able to carry that
Right.
weight, able to carry that load. Okay? Do you mean fiancé, Farrell? I think maybe you mean fiancé. That's a French word. Right? Let's see. Uncountable, maybe Carlos, I think you mean uncountable. Un means not, and count means to count, right? To use numbers, to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sequence?
Yeah, right, yeah. And then able, right? Uncountable, right? So not countable. Procrastinate, there's a good one. Let's look at procrastinate.
Yeah.
Procrastinate comes from the word procrastinare, which means pro means forward, and crastinus means belonging to tomorrow.
So to push something forward
to put it
tomorrow.
off until tomorrow.
Yes.
So procrastinate means pro means forward, in the future, and crastinus means tomorrow. So to put it off until tomorrow, that's procrastinate. Okay? Kindergarten is a German word. Kinder means children, and Garten means garden. So a kindergarten is a garden for children where the children grow. Right? And yeah, fiancé. Fiancé means a man who to whom one is betrothed, right? So that comes from the word. That's interesting. It comes from the Latin word fidare, meaning to trust or to be faithful to. So your fiancé is the person who is faithful to you,
trusted. Yeah,
right?
you trust.
There's another good one that I like is the word husband and wife. Husband. Husband is an old English word, and it means means house, and band means dweller. So husband means house dweller.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the husband. Okay, and wife.
I like that.
Wife is another fun one. Wife comes from Old English with, meaning female or lady, but let's see. Where was it? I remember. The original meaning of wife just means girl. Yeah. Or actually, it has another earlier meaning.
Oh, yeah. That's not so nice.
Yeah, we won't say that. But in German, it meant a woman or a female person. Okay? Let's see. What other words do we want to look up here? You mean obese, Wasim? Obese? Let's look at obese. Obese means exceedingly fat, right? And ob means about or because of, and edere means to eat. So obese actually means because of eating. That's what obese means.
Oh, okay.
You're fat because you eat too much. Obese. Anima means animated, right? It means with life or action. Comes from the word animus from Latin, which means your soul, your life, your mind, your mental powers, your courage. So it's related to the idea of a living being. A living person has anima, right? It has the ability to feel and to live. Okay? It actually comes from the root word of that is to breathe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So animus means the ability to have life because you can breathe, right?
And that would be the first thing you see. If no one's moving at all, they're going to be breathing, and
That's
that'll
right.
be the movement.
Yeah. Okay, festival. There's a good one. Let's look at festival. And if you want to know what is the app that I'm using for this, I'm using an app or a website. You can go to the website or the app. It's called etymonline.com. Etymonline.com is a free online etymology dictionary. Okay, so a festival, let's see. So the word festum or festivalis in Latin means a church holiday or a holiday, yes. Right? So a festival, and it's related to the word feast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if it was close to feast.
A feast is a really big meal for a celebration. It's a celebration meal. And festivals, holidays, we usually have a feast.
Yes. And those are some of the earliest artifacts in England and in Great Britain are leftovers from huge feasts.
That's right.
Giant piles of bones that they
Since we're
collected.
talking about festivals and food and parties, let's talk about an idiom for a minute. Let's talk about an idiom. To give the cold shoulder to someone.
Yes.
What does that mean? To give the cold shoulders to someone. What does that mean, you guys? What does this idiom mean? To give the cold shoulder.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I know, but how it's changed to now, it's more of like, you give them your shoulder, but...
To give, so let's see, cold treatment or ignoring someone, to neglect someone. It doesn't mean to give support. No, to give the cold shoulder means that you're treating someone badly because you don't like them. And this term, to give the cold shoulder, comes from Old English history, where if you were invited to a feast and you were sitting at the table, if they gave you the piece of meat, shoulder was considered to be one of the lower pieces of meat, not a good piece of meat. And if it was cold, that was their way of telling you that you're not really welcome there.
Yeah, you were only invited because to fill out the numbers.
That's right. So to give the cold shoulder to someone, it was actually also a way that they used to tell you that it's time to go.
Right.
They would they would bring the cold shoulder and put it in front of you, and it's cold and it's not a good piece of meat.
It's not hot anymore. So time to go.
People are like, it's time to go, right? So to give the cold shoulder to someone, yeah. And on a unrelated but related note, chopsticks in Asian culture. I want to say I think it's in Japanese culture. I can't remember. Guys, tell me if it's Japanese or Chinese culture. I can't remember which one. But you're supposed to put your chopsticks on your bowl in front of you, right? And the proper way to do it is to put them at a horizontal angle in front of you, right? But if you were to put your chopsticks pointed towards somebody across the table, that was their way of telling somebody that they wanted that person dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
The old Yakuza trick.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, it's Japan, China, and Korea. Okay. Yeah, so where you pointed your chopsticks was a way to say, that person, I don't like that.
That's a little more than a cold shoulder.
Yeah. So, what does the meaning of tie a knot, Alien? Tying a knot means to get married. And that's because in old medieval culture and in English old culture, they used to literally use a rope when you were getting married in the marriage ceremony. They used a rope to tie your arm to your wife's arm, right? So you would tie the knot.
My brother was married in Scotland, and he had a sort of traditional Scottish wedding, and him and his wife, they held hands, and they were tied together, and they tied a knot over their hands.
That's right. Okay, let's see. Do we have some other words that we wanted to look up here? Somebody wanted to know hamburger. Nostalgia, the word hamburger doesn't have anything to do with ham. This has to do with the city of Hamburg, Germany. Okay? So the hamburger is an American food, but it has German influence because Hamburg, Germany is a city where a long time ago, one of the common styles of cooking there was to take the meat and chop it into small pieces. So Hamburg style meat was chopped meat, right? And so in America, we saw somebody taking chopped meat and making it into a patty and then cooking it. And the first hamburger restaurant is still around in America. They still do the hamburger the same way that they did a long time ago. It's actually not very appetizing looking.
Right, yeah.
It's like two pieces of toast with a piece of meat in the middle of it. Not really that yummy.
We're allowed to evolve.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'll take a Zips burger any day. Yeah. So hamburger means technically, a hamburger is only a hamburger if it uses chopped meat of some kind. So it can be chopped beef, chopped turkey, chopped pork, chopped chicken. Anything that's chopped together and made into a patty, that's a hamburger. Okay, so we have turkey burgers and chicken burgers and hamburgers, right? All of those are burgers. Okay? And the word sandwich is an interesting one, too. Do you guys know where sandwich comes from?
That old story about the Earl?
That's right.
But that is the veracity, the truth of which may not bear out.
Well, the majority of people do say it's mostly likely from there, right? The Earl of Sandwich, the fourth Earl of Sandwich, was John Montagu. John Montagu. And he was this guy in England who he loved to gamble. He loved to gamble. He loved to play cards specifically, right? So he would be at the table playing cards all the time. And he had his cards in his hands. And he wanted to eat food, but he didn't want to leave the table. So his servants gave him 2 pieces of bread with something in between so he could hold it and eat while he held his cards. And that's where we get the word sandwich from. So let's see. And it also has something to do with the Hawaiian Islands. And yeah, that account originates from 1770. So in 1770, they were still saying that was where it came from.
Right.
So that means...
But I'd imagine bread and meat go back, a lot farther than
the concept of the sandwich goes back much further.
But the name, I see.
That's right. The name is attributed to him.
Right.
That's exactly right. Of course, every culture has always had some sort of, sandwich type thing.
Bread with meat in the middle.
That's right. Okay, so there we go. That's always a fun one to learn, a sandwich. Oh, obsessed. Okay, obsessed is a good one. So ob means opposite, and ses comes from the Latin word, I can't remember what it is. Cesare, maybe? It means to sit. So obsess means you're sitting across from something and looking at it.
Does assess come from the same? Is it used the same?
Let's take a look.
Because I was thinking to assess, you may sit and look at something to understand.
It does. That's right. Yeah.
Huh.
So assedere means to sit, and so ob means opposite of. So obsess means to sit opposite of something and focus on it.
Yes.
And to assess means to sit by something and look at it.
Yeah.
Don't make it a big deal. It's just a hamburger. What's a big deal to us?
I do like hamburgers.
Yeah.
Please, 1 cheeseburger. Me too, Mina.
Yeah.
Me too. Thank you.
What's my favorite hamburger? Not McDonald's. No. McDonald's that's just fast food, guys. That's not pretty much. I would say most fast food is never the best representation of that food.
Yeah.
There are occasional, like Shake Shack is supposed to be really good. Five Guys is pretty good. In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
There are some that are higher level.
Yeah.
But in my city, there's a place that's called Zips Cafe, and they've been making a burger for about 97 years. And we went there for lunch
Yeah.
actually once, and it's great. It's a classic burger. Yeah, and that's my favorite burger is a Zips
Yeah.
burger.
And there's different styles of burger.
That's
too,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got the big thick burgers, which are, you know, and then you've got your thinner burgers. I prefer the thinner ones.
Okay, China. 没关系啊，你可以去。David is also a drummer. Okay. I'm a drummer, David. All right. So, thank you, Mina.
Yes, thank you.
Yamada, what's the word that you want us to look up?
Spritz, maybe? Or spirits?
Spritz. Maybe you want me to do the word spritz. Spritz means to sprinkle or squirt or spray, and it comes from the German word that means to squirt or sprout.
A spritzer.
Yeah. Huh? 就这样，我听不懂你说什么。为什么你我奇怪？如果你要给我1000元，你可以。Hello, Farouk.
Mina, you play guitar? That's cool.
Thank you, Muhammad.
Welcome, Muhammad.
So we've been talking about vocabulary. And I was giving some words. Oh, here's a good one. Miguel wants to know about the word breakfast. That's one of my favorite
Yes,
ones.
that's a great one.
Yeah, so breakfast. What does breakfast mean, everybody? It does mean what it sounds like. What is a fast? Fast has two meanings. Did you guys know that? The word fast. F-A-S-T. What does fast mean?
Speed.
That's right.
Yeah, high
One
speed.
meaning of fast is speed, right? It means to go fast, rapidly, quickly,
Yes.
right? But the other meaning of fast means to not eat.
Right, nostalgia.
Right? To not eat, right? So breakfast means the first meal you eat when you break your fast. Breaking your fast means you were not eating, you were fasting, and now you're going to break your fast and you can eat. And so breakfast was the first meal you would eat after a long night. And, you know, now we talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that's actually a new thing.
Really?
Yeah, 3 meals a day.
Right.
Not
Most
the way most
Throughout
of history has
there
been.
wasn't enough food for that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Sometimes breakfast was your only meal.
Right,
That's the
right.
only meal you ate. And if you were a worker, that's where American workers get such huge food breakfasts from.
Right.
Because you would eat that at 4 in the morning, and then
that
at
was-
5 in the morning you were out in the field
Or in a
working for the
factory, maybe.
entire day.
Yeah.
Right. So, and actually, all of those words, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's look at lunch, too. That's got another funny one.
Yeah, I knew breakfast, but I don't know if I know lunch.
So lunch comes from the word lump, and also the word nuncheon. Nuncheon means light midday meal, like noon. Noon eats,
And,
right?
And that is, we still use luncheon.
That's right,
For
yeah.
for an event sort of lunch.
That's right. So, luncheon means a light meal between meals, right? So originally, it was just like a snack you had. So you would have 2 meals. You'd have
Right.
breakfast and maybe dinner.
Right.
And in between, you had a
Luncheon.
luncheon,
Yeah.
meaning a small snack or meal.
A lump of something.
And the word lunch, and there was an English word that just meant a hunk of bread or cheese. So they would just give you a hunk of bread and cheese, and that was your lunch.
Yeah, I know, and that would be a lot of the time in Roman times. That's what it was.
That's right.
They'd grab a hunk of bread or a hunk of cheese at midday.
It was a light midday meal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So noon meaning afternoon, right? And shenche meaning drink, right? So it's like food and drink in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's look at the word dinner. Oops. Dinner, which is funny. It comes from the word, the French word dîner, meaning the first meal of the day.
Huh.
And again, it actually means desayunare means to break one's fast. So breakfast and dinner
Have the same meaning
mean
almost.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I never knew that.
yeah,
That's
dis
interesting.
means undo or the opposite of, and ionare or jejunare means to fast. So breaking your fast.
basically
They both
breakfast
mean
in a different
That's
language.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. So, and again, that proves that the idea of 3 meals a day, that's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, it was. Just break the fast again.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's
So
only been a couple hours.
We used
but-
to generally only have 1 meal per day, and maybe you had your meal in the morning, maybe you had your meal at night. But breakfast and dinner mean the same thing. They
Yeah.
mean to break your fast. Yeah. That's a funny one, isn't
That
it?
is. That's really interesting.
Yeah. See, that's why I love etymology.
Yeah.
Really is fun to look up words that you've been using forever.
Right.
But to
Yeah.
not really know. And the majority of Americans, I think if you ask them what breakfast means,
Yeah.
I think that a lot of them would not really know.
I'm a bit curious about supper. Then, not that it's used nearly as much as
Sure.
dinner. Dinner
Let's
is
take-
far
let's
far
take
more
a look
common
at supper.
than supper. But you may hear it in
Sup,
England.
it means soup.
Ah, okay.
Sup means to eat.
Yes.
But the thing that they usually ate
Was
was
soup.
soup.
Uh-huh.
So supper
Something
means
warm at night,
To
yeah.
eat the evening meal is supper. Yeah, and it comes from the French word souper, meaning evening meal.
Yeah, and you'll hear that much more in British English than in American.
To sup, that's right.
Yeah.
Although when I went to
Yeah, you would still hear it here.
my grandmother's house when I was a boy, we used to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner,
And
supper, and dessert.
That's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
with the
that's right.
Second breakfast.
Second breakfast, that's right, yeah.
Tea
Right.
times.
So again, the word sup means the evening, to eat the evening meal, to sup, right? And it comes from the word soup, meaning broth. And let's look at the word dessert.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about all these
Yeah.
food words, we may as well. Dessert. Let's see. It literally means, in French, it means the last course. So it means the removal of what has been served. Desservir.
Huh.
Meaning to clear the table.
Almost like the other word, like deserted. You
That's
know,
right.
to-
Yes. So in this case, des means to remove, and what has been served. So you remove all the plates and things that you ate before,
Right.
and then you bring
You desert the table. And
That's
then,
right.
yeah.
That's right. To clear out. Yeah. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, dessert all have interesting etymologies. Thank you for reminding me about that one, Miguel. That's a good one, right?
Yeah, Belle and like my kids all the time eating.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I am a lot of the time.
That's just an American way
Yes,
now.
it's the American way.
Eating all the time. Yeah. And brunch is a combination of breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
So breakfast in America usually is in the early morning, lunch is in the afternoon, brunch right in between, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that's a brunch time. And it means a combination of breakfast and lunch. What about beauty? The word beauty, let's look at beauty. Beauty. That comes from the Latin word bellus, meaning pretty or handsome or charming. Usually talking about women or children. And it was insultingly or ironically used to talk about men.
I see. Yes.
Yeah. So the word beauty actually comes from the Latin word bellitatum, or bellitus, meaning a state of being pleasing to the senses. You're pretty. Do I like desserts? Sure, sometimes.
I like ice cream.
Let's look at the word biscuit. I've never looked at
Yeah.
that one before. Biscuit. Bis means, let's see, it means twice baked.
Oh.
Bis, like by, meaning two, right? And
Yeah.
cactus, meaning bread. So biscuit actually means twice baked bread.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if the rising action is like the first baking and then.
Yeah, or maybe they cooked it once and then cooked it again to make
Yeah,
it
to
more
flaky.
more hard and
Yeah.
crispy, right? Like toasting.
Yeah,
You know, right? Because a toast, you bake it once and
Right,
it's soft, and
yeah.
then you bake it again to make it
Yeah,
hard,
crunchy.
right? Yeah. Tea is actually another interesting word.
Yeah.
The word tea has a very interesting history. It depends on where you come from, right? So tea is now spelled T-E-A, but in the past it also was spelled T-H-E-A. It was also spelled T-E-Y, and it was pronounced as tay, which came from the word chai.
Oh.
Yeah, and all that has to do with imports and exports
Right,
and the
right.
British India Company
yep.
and all of that. So, and the Chinese word for
Cha.
chai.
Yeah, chai. Yeah.
So that's where tea is one of those funny words that
Yeah.
we say it as tea, but it comes from the word te, which is related to chai, which is related to cha.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So the British are always talking about how important tea is to their culture.
Yeah.
But when you just look at the word.
And when you look at the history of it, they haven't even had it that long.
That's right.
You know,
That's exactly
compared
right.
to other cultures.
That's right. And they had to import it because they don't grow it there. They don't
That's
grow
like
it there.
with all the spices and everything as well. And then it's interesting that, like chili spices actually didn't even reach
That's
India
right, yeah.
until it was
That's the
imported from
Columbian
South
exchange.
Yeah,
That's
from
right.
South America.
That's right. And tomatoes didn't exist in
Right.
Italian food.
Yeah,
That's
uh-huh.
right. And let's see. What was the other word I was going to mention? There was another thing I was going to say, and I just let it slip out of my head. Let me see if I can go back and find it. Oh, I can't remember now. What was that? It just came into my head, and then I lost it.
It was related to tea and
I
trade.
think so. I'm trying to remember what it was. It'll come to me maybe later. Hello, Tanya. Or Tanu. Hello. Hello, Ahmed. In Chile, we say break instead of brunch. Okay, interesting. Linner.
Linner. Yeah.
Lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner.
That's right. In England, they consume tea with milk, but in Turkey, only tea, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and food history is another one of my favorite
Yeah.
little subjects too.
Yeah, it's
and,
interesting.
And sometimes those things are related, like we were just saying, like the word tea and everything.
And how it used to be called tay.
That's right. Yeah. So pronunciations, like I said, that's why pronunciations even change over time. So this will be maybe our last word, and then we're going to take a break here for a little while. The word though. Oh, look at that. Tea in Brazil is called cha.
Huh.
So yeah, that all comes from the Chinese word.
Yes.
Cha, meaning tea. What about the word though? Do you guys hate that word? Don't you guys hate how that word is pronounced?
I don't even like it.
Right, me neither. Yeah. The word though. And you also say cha. That's right. So the word chai,
Yeah.
like Indian chai tea, right? That also comes from the Chinese word cha. So, though, the word though has O-U-G-H, and we don't pronounce those letters, right? And that's such a weird thing. Why do we spell it that way if we don't pronounce it that way? That's because originally it had a different pronunciation. A long time ago, the word though was pronounced as the, right? So,
We've kind of lost that sound entirely.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are like 2 or 3 words that are very rare that
Yeah.
we still use that sound, but that's right. It's almost completely gone from the language.
Turned into an F or just left off.
A long time ago, they had to figure out, how do we write that sound? How do we write that with letters? What letters do we use to write that sound? And they debated this for a few years. There was many years where they used this, maybe CH or GH or FH or all these different words to try to write out this sound. And eventually, they decided to use GH. GH was the sound they used. So the reason why we still spell it as THOUGH is because the original pronunciation is the, but we changed it, and now it's just though.
Yeah, that's funny. And in comic books, they try to do that with sounds, like that kind of sound they'll write as THPTPT
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. And
Onomatopoeias.
I can
Yeah.
imagine these guys trying to figure
That's
out
right,
like
how to
what,
write that
how to
sound.
write this sound
Yeah.
down.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So everybody, today we've been talking about etymology, which is one of my favorite little hobbies, if you can't tell. And yeah, it's a fun thing to learn about, and it's very useful for improving your vocabulary, right? So I'd like you guys to start paying more attention to this, because if you're trying to build your vocabulary, etymology is a very useful tool, and that's how I learned it first. When I was 15 years old, the first language I studied in high school was Latin, and I hated that language because it's such a difficult language. I didn't speak it well or learn it well, but I did learn that 60% of English words come from Latin. And man, that was so useful on my
Yeah.
SAT test for
Right.
vocabulary,
Yeah.
you know? I had a leg up, as we say,
Right.
for learning vocabulary words because of this trick. My source for learning etymology, well, I have many books about it and everything, but there's a great etymology dictionary called etymonline.com.
And someone mentioned here, Kuhn mentioned T comes from Cantonese pronunciation as te.
That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the word ketchup. Guys, the word ketchup actually comes from an early Malay word. It's a Chinese, or Amoy Chinese, so it's an old dialect of Chinese. Catsup. Catsup meant fish sauce.
Oh.
And so the British and the European ships that came through there, when they would eat, they always heard catsup, and it was a sauce.
And that's why you still see it spelled that way
That's
sometimes.
right. That's right. There's a bunch of different
C-A-T-S-U-P,
sauces.
yeah.
That's right. Different spellings. Yeah.
Right.
Now, when they got back to England, Heinz, who's the first one who did make
manufacture it.
American-style ketchup or Western-style ketchup, that sauce that we call ketchup now has nothing to do with the original flavor of fish sauce.
Right.
But basically, it's like the word jiang in Chinese, which just means sauce.
Yeah,
like
and
a
then,
general kind
right,
of
and
sauce.
then it became associated with soy sauce.
But
And,
now
yeah.
we fanjiajiang means tomato sauce,
Yeah.
right? And so ketchup is actually funny because in Chinese they call it fanjiajiang, which means tomato sauce.
Right.
But the original word is a Chinese word,
Right,
meaning fish
right.
sauce. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I always like the Chinese phrase "da jiang you," which I'm just here to buy soy, just here to
That's
buy
right.
sauce.
Yeah.
Not my business.
That's right. All right, guys. So I think that's going to do it for today. Miguel, I'll try to look that one up later and see if I can send you a message about that windscreen. Well, no, we've got time. I'll do one more because I think I remember this one actually does have an interesting. The word wind comes from Old Dutch and Norse and German. It means blowing, okay, to blow. And so screen comes from German or Dutch, Schirm, meaning a cover or a shield.
Huh. A skirm. I wonder if that's related with skirmish. Shields.
It is actually, yeah, skirm means protect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So skirmish. And which is also related to the word scrum in rugby.
Yeah.
So skirmish means a fight, right? Between a small number of soldiers. Skirmjanen, meaning to protect.
Yeah.
Or defend.
Huh.
Yeah.
So to defend from the wind.
That's right. And actually, the word umbrella originally means a leather protection on a shield.
Oh, yeah. Huh. and then you hold it up in the air and it covers your head.
That's right. It protects you from the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, all right. Oh, so molho is, that makes sense. I wonder if that's related to the Spanish mole.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is the ED in talked silent? No. Talked. There are 3 ways to pronounce ED words. Some of them are pronounced with a D, right? Some of them are pronounced with an ED. And some of them are pronounced, which actually is kind of more like ID.
Yeah.
And then some of them pronounced with a hard T, like watched or washed.
And then the ID, like decided.
Decided. Right.
Yeah, it's usually how it's
right.
decided.
Which language family does English belong to? Well, technically it's a Germanic. It's considered a Germanic language, Osman, but that's not a very accurate way to look at it completely because English is difficult because it has so many influences from so many places, right? So, for example, English comes from the word Anglo and Anglo-Saxons. Those were the 2 tribes that were the primary groups that they met. The Anglo-Saxons lived actually in France. They came over the water into England and they combined with the local Celtic Druidic groups, and that became the Anglo-Saxon tribes, and those became the early English tribes. But they were influenced by the Roman Empire because the Roman Empire ruled that area earlier, and so Latin was the language of the Roman Empire, so that became a very big influence on them, the Latin language. And Christianity, Latin was the language of Christianity, which was a huge influence over all of Europe and there. And the British, the English, and the French had been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years. So there's lots of French influence on English. And Germans, the Norse German areas, northern European areas were called the Germanic areas or the Norse areas. And lots of those tribes had both fighting and trade with England and the British Isles. So there's a lot of influence from there. And then later, there's influence from the Crusades and from the early meetings with the African continents and the Middle Eastern continents and the Muslim culture. So words like algebra and alcohol, those all come from Arabic. And then we also have words that traveled from India through Hindi.
Yeah.
And so that's why the English language is kind of interesting. It's a mix of so many languages. It's a mix of so many languages.
Hey, Gunther, from Cologne, an old city.
Okay, so yeah, you can't really just say it's Germanic like it's just all
Right,
German. The
right.
truth is that only about 20% of English words have a direct Germanic Norse
Mm-hmm.
influence. I mean, granted, it depends on how you look at it. There are so many studies, it's hard to really say.
Yeah.
But the majority of English words come from Latin or Greek. Like I said, it's 60% of English words come from Latin or Greek. And remember, the Roman Empire, the biggest influence of the Roman Empire used Latin, but their biggest influence was Greece. They studied Greek history and Greek culture, and a lot of everything they did, their food, their architecture, their music, all of that comes from
Their
Greek
religious
history.
beliefs even,
Their religious
yeah.
beliefs. They just renamed the gods,
Yes,
you know? Yeah. So yeah, again, like, history is a kind of important part of language.
Yes.
And I'm a history nerd. I love history, so studying some of that will help you, and even our idioms, lots of our idioms, not lots, I would say every
Yeah.
idiom has an interesting story about where it comes from. And not every word has an interesting story, but I would say a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we just talked about with breakfast, lunch,
Right.
and dinner today.
And I've learned a lot myself just
Yeah.
looking at that stuff.
That's why I really like etymology, because it
Yeah.
just is so like, oh, wow, really? You know?
Yeah, how dinner and breakfast mean the same thing.
And yeah, just, a few months ago, I found out steak and stick are related.
Right.
It's like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, why don't we
And even
actually
the other
teach
steak,
these?
you know, like a steak
That's
in
right,
the ground is
that's
probably
right.
from the exact same.
It is. It's a
exact
piece
same
of
thing.
wood.
Yeah,
That's
uh-huh.
right. Yeah. Because a piece of wood was used to roast the meat over the
Right.
fire. So a piece of wood that you sharpened was a steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. All languages affect each other for the most part. Yeah, Osman, to some degree. Yeah. And English language, there are so many words. We also have many, many English words that come from Native American culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like the state of Ohio,
Yeah.
where we are right now in
Kentucky.
Ohio, Kentucky, well, no, not Illinois, Chicago.
Connecticut.
Chicago, the city of Chicago means land of onions. Yeah, and Ohio means beautiful river.
Yeah, and Connecticut actually was pronounced how it is spelled, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
And yes. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, and that would have been also.
Yeah. So, and the word cafe comes from French, but the word cafeteria comes from Spanish. When they put the eteria on there, like, that there's
Yeah.
lots of eteria words and
Yes.
iria words in Spanish. Yeah. So, or the word pants, pantalones in Spanish and pantalon in Arabic.
Yeah.
And again, if you start to look at the maps, it makes sense.
Yeah.
There's
When
a lot
you
of
see
there's
trade was
a lot of-
probably a huge driver.
That's
in
exactly
all
right.
of that
Trade and
language.
fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Trade and fighting are the two reasons why.
Trading blows.
That's right. Yeah. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys for watching and following and joining. Please make sure you go to my link tree. Go here if you want to follow me. Go to my link tree, okay? linktr.ee/AFIEC English. You can find my website. If you want to take private lessons with me, I have private lessons on my website. You can go there and buy them. You can also find my YouTube channel and my podcast and my Facebook, okay? All of that is on my link tree. Thank you, Odai. That's correct, yeah. Is it necessary to know the origin of words? No, of course it's not necessary, but it's a very useful, helpful tool to remember the meaning of the words.
And learn new words.
And learn new words, right. It's a very useful tool for learning vocabulary. It's much better than memorizing.
Yeah.
Memorizing is such an ineffective tool for learning. But if you find out the interesting stories where they come from, then you don't have to memorize it. It's easy to remember. Okay? So yes, go to my link tree. You can also find my YouTube channels right there, and you can find my website right there. So I'm going to put all three of those here one more time. And please, yes, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. This is my new co-host, Teacher Clay. If you join us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he's usually here helping me and joining me. So thank you very much, guys. We're going to take a bit of a break, and I might be back a little bit later today. But Clay, yeah, you have to.
I'm setting it up tonight. I am, because I'm getting my microphone. I'm getting a setup for my home, so I can start to do some of my own stuff. And I'm going to have an ID for you guys to all follow. Definitely by Monday when I'm back on the stream here.
Yeah, so
I'll have all that done.
Next week sometime we'll have all the information for you guys to follow Clay as well. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you live in the world. Don't forget to be a language warrior. Okay, guys? I'll see you guys next time. We'll see you next time.